Hello and welcome to another edition of our podcast, Recycle, Don't Be a Waster. In today's episode, we want to cover, I suppose it's a really good news story, and it's an Aussie story, a story about recycling innovation and ingenuity, and something that we hope will have huge impacts. It was actually in the press today, and that's what provoked my interest. So it's called Samsara Eco, and they have discovered a breakthrough for infinite recycling of synthetic clothing, polyester, athletic wear, those sort of things that I suppose fundamentally have a large plastic component. And to date, the issue with this stuff, and think of activewear, football shirts, that sort of items, anything polyester or similar related, the vast majority has ended up in landfill. Some of the stats highlighting how serious a problem this is, as regards fast fashion and clothing in general. Since the year 2000, global clothing production has doubled. European fashion companies now have more than doubled their number of collections each year, from 2 per year in 2000 to over 5 in 2011, and that's over 10 years ago. And still, 85% of textiles go into landfill every year, which bizarrely is enough to fill Sydney Harbour. So obviously then there's some massive other issues such as microplastics being released and different things. And so I suppose this is where Samsara Eco comes into play. And I note on the internet today they have just signed an agreement with Lululemon, the major, I suppose probably the most famous activewear brand. I think it's an American brand, but they're very popular certainly in Australia and on the northern beaches. So how are they doing this? And I suppose the method it's quite scientific, much more scientific than maybe what you expect from a recycling or a garbo company. So they use an enzyme that breaks down into the original chemical building blocks that form the garment, such as nylon, and then reuses them and enables it to be reused in an infinite number of ways. So fundamentally, it's breaking it down into the original material and letting it, then you can do whatever you want with it. So this is, I believe it will focus on 2 different areas, which is nylon 6 and nylon 6.6, which are some of the more common ways of manufacturing clothes. So, and getting onto the chemical or the actual scientific aspect of it, which is above my pay grade or my level of science, let's ask the actual company. So Colin Jackson is the chief science officer there. He's also an ANU, Australian National University professor. And he says nylon and other synthetic fibers like polyester are polymers, in which many building blocks are joined through chemical linkages. Our enzymes specifically break only these linkages, so there is no destruction of the building blocks, and these can be recovered to synthesize as new fibers. So what do we hope to achieve by this sort of process? Samsara hopes to release by 2024 its own garments, and they hope to have a manufacturing plant or recycling plant in the United States in the next 2 years. So I suppose, and again, some of the comments are that we can apply this to other types of plastics such as PET, which we commonly use in water bottles currently, but also in other types of clothing. A contact from the company says, we'll use them in conjunction so we can take the polyester out, then the nylon out, and we're left with a range of other plastics like elastane. At this point in time, they've yet to develop an enzyme for elastane to patent stage, but they're certainly working towards that. So certainly a very interesting idea, just when you consider the sheer volume of clothing. Everyone has clothing to some extent, and sometimes we don't think of it as plastic, and it has the similar problems of plastic and some of the similar benefits which make it appealing to manufacturing. So I think it's very exciting. I think it's very exciting that a high-tech Australian recycling startup is being so successful. It's great that they've signed a great commercial agreement with Lululemon, and I think we wish them all the best. And let's hope that over time this is rolled out further. Again, I think this is an excellent opportunity to really utilize product stewardship programs again, and I think that this will lead to more and more people, big companies having the opportunity to take ownership of the life cycle of the treatment of the garment. So that's something we can only expect to continue. So I think we'll leave it there today. And yeah, I say recommend everybody check out this Samsara Eco for some good news. We'll leave it there today. And remember, recycle. Don't be a waster.